Welcome, Leo, to your in-depth monthly horoscope for January 2024 for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will go through each of the influences and the dates in precise detail in terms of how this relates to you in particular. Now, this month begins, as usual, with the Sun in the earthy Capricorn, but it's forging still a brilliant link to Jupiter, the planet of plenty. And also Jupiter is going to be forging some other prestigious links this month, so can't wait to share that with you. Now, Pluto has had a lot of attention on it since it first moved into Aquarius in March last year for just 11 short weeks. But it's back into Aquarius on the 21st of January. It comes in just after the Sun, but the two forge an exact connection on the 20th. And also there's a full moon in your sign on the 25th. So loads to tell you about. Please stay with me for more. As we make our way into year 2024, if you would like to understand what this will mean for you in a totally individual way and ascend above this zodiac broadcast, please give me 3 pieces of your birth data of time, date and place, or date and place if you don't know your time, and I'll produce for you your 12-month forecast. This will be a full 12 months from the time of your order, unless you order in the latter part of 23, and I'll give you the rest of that year for free. But along with your 12-month forecast, which will give you searing insights, you can also get your character analysis report, your life roadmap. That gives you a much more intimate understanding of the influences that have played out in your whole life and how you can work with them. Also, you'll get your zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs, your Indian Vedic forecast and your Chinese forecast for year 2024, all free of charge. Please see the link beneath this video for more. So Leo, as you come into January 24, as usual, the Sun is in the practical Capricorn, and that's very much about the things that people often talk about at this time of year. Should I be a little bit more careful with my diet, with what I drink, the amount of exercise I get, and we set those New Year's resolutions. But there's much more for you this year, because if you think back to 2008 when Pluto first went in to this sector, the 6th house, and he starts the year in this sector too, but he is going to be saying goodbye on the 21st, as I mentioned before. That sees a big shift. That's a shift into your sector of relating. So there's been a lot of sacrifice on your part, I feel, since 2008. You've done a lot to support others. And it's not to say that you felt resentful about it, but there hasn't always been the opportunities perhaps to showcase your talents and skills quite as you would like. And this year, as it begins, has a very surprising lineup of planets in the sign of Sagittarius. And why that's particularly relevant to you is, of course, because it's a fellow fire sign. And for you, that represents the 5th house, which is about dazzling people with our charisma. It is very Leonian. Now, it is true that Mercury's just in retrograde, in a conjunction with the restless Mars, and Venus can be very charming. So if you are looking to capitalize on the winter sales, it wouldn't be a surprise if you were looking at perhaps nabbing some things for your wardrobe, which will give you some kind of uplift in terms of your presentation. But seriously, both Mercury and Mars are squared up by Neptune, Mercury through to the 12th, and Venus is caught up in a T-square with the stern Saturn, but also the position of the Moon, which starts this year in Virgo. So what do we make of this? Well, I feel that you can be very creative around those practical strands. You can use the awesomeness of Jupiter going direct, as it has, and linking so well with the Sun. So when it comes to your professional hopes, that's very dynamic and really can assist you all year. But I feel that the 5th house is where you really need to feel that attention, that warmth, that affection, that admiration. It's just that the role of Saturn can be cold and Neptune can be confusing. So if you are trying to use your talents and flair and artistry, for example, in your professional situation, I don't necessarily think it's going to be a straightforwardly easy process, because the 8th house is where we gain money. It's very much about business finance. So, and just be aware that somebody you've encountered over the holiday period at the very start of this year could be suffering with the green-eyed monster. You are giving off such an evocative vibe. Someone around you may feel a little bit pushed out. But on the 2nd, Mercury does go direct, which is obviously very, very good. But on the 4th, Mars goes into the sign of Capricorn, and that's extremely good because it's escaping the rather enervating vibe of Neptune. But Mars in the 6th house will add robustness, so your physical vitality will go up with Mars moving here. And if you do want to be really productive, and you can really understand that if you can blend your talents, your natural flair, with hard work in industry, very Capricornian, there's a whole lot of extra attention that you can gain, and recognition and success. Jupiter in that 10th house. So there's plenty to go for sure. But on the 11th, we have the new moon in Capricorn. Now, the new moon here is a great chance for you to really use some practical strands to inform yourself and get better organized to make the most of your opportunities. But this is a new moon that does see the newly arrived Mars in Capricorn linking brilliantly to Jupiter, and the Sun is also linking to Uranus. Put it in simple terms, if you can approach situations practically, but also demonstrate some innovation, Uranus, but also some confidence, Jupiter, and really make sure that whatever you're trying to do is very workable and is relatable for anyone that you're trying to explain it to, what a new moon this can be. It could be extremely fortunate for you, to be honest. So on the 14th, Mercury arrives back in the sign of Capricorn. So any tangles that have occurred since the 23rd of December can hopefully start to unravel, but just stay conscious of the fact that Mercury is yet to complete its full cycle. That's the 21st of January when it comes out of the post-retrograde shadow. But at the heart of this month, that square between Mercury and Neptune is really still there. So very important to, despite Mercury moving back into Capricorn, that you're still very precise about things. But the 20th is an enormously significant day because the Sun and Pluto are exactly conjunct in Capricorn. For you, that 6th house, very much to do with sacrifice, the things you've done to support people for a very long time. And I think for all of us, we are going to really realise the significance of, on the 21st, Pluto moving into Aquarius. For you, about relationships through to the 2nd of September this year, the 19th of November, 2nd September to 19th of November, just briefly back in Capricorn, but then in Aquarius for the long term. And whatever your situation, whatever relationships you have in your world, the 7th house, whatever way that you connect to others, the 7th house, engage with people, that's going to be the area of huge growth for you this year. If you're solo and you would like to bring a serious relationship into your life, this will add extra significance because Pluto works in very, very mysterious ways, but very, very deep ways. Sometimes we can visualize what we want with Pluto and actually not get it. And other times it will deliver things that we really need to get, but we don't see it at the time. Complex, I know, but relationships are the big story really with that change. But on the 23rd, Venus makes its way into the practical sign of Capricorn. It has just itself tangled with Neptune. If in a romantic context, however much you've been trying to see another person's viewpoint, I feel what will happen with the Sun and Pluto moving into the 7th house and that tangle between Venus and Neptune is that if you really feel that you're spending all of your time trying to unravel whatever it is that causes the problem, you may decide that you really need to assert your boundary, and that will come with the full moon in your sign on the 25th, which is about relationships all day long. The sun in the sign of Aquarius is actually in detriment because it's obviously in its domiciliary rulership of your sign, so it's a cool place for the sun. If there is a relationship, so any kind of tie that feels cool, you're going to become more conscious of it. But with Jupiter T-square in both, I think this is an important time for professional relationships as much as personal ones. That need for feeling recognised, which is quite an innate part of Leo nature, which I feel has been in some ways diminuted by Pluto's journey over the last 15 years in the sign of Capricorn. I feel that you're going to recognise that it's true, you do need to be respected. If you're liked, you're extremely pleased. If you're adored, you're in bliss. So you may not get that at work, but you have to be respected. And I think that could be something that comes up towards the end of this month. And you're going to develop more tools in your personal responses with Pluto and the Sun in the sign of Aquarius to deal with people who challenge you in any way around any interactions you have, not just of a personal kind. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Leo. I'd like to wish you all the best for year 2024. If you'd like to have a one-to-one with me, please see the link beneath this video. But for now, please like, comment, share or subscribe.